I'm a lady whom God has blessed. I've had 9 miscarriages, but the Lord has been faithful. I'm a mother of 2. I've gone through a lot of pain. Despite all this, God showed His faithfulness. I am Theresa Mubonda, and I'm a gospel artist. I'm a lover of God. Today, I want to tell you my story. I got married in 2009 in Mongo to a very handsome man, Mr. Mubonda, Patrick. When we got married, as it's an intention of every woman to carry their own child, and I was looking forward to that. I never took time. I conceived. And we were so excited. I remember telling my husband, who was on a trip, that I was pregnant, and I confirmed it with a strip. I was very excited. When he came back from the trip, I shared the news, and you know, having a pregnancy for the very first time, you tell this one, and people were just glad with me. I was happy, my friends were happy with me. But one day, I was bathing. Suddenly, I see a deposit of blood on my pant. And I was wondering, is this normal? I remember calling my matron to find out, is it normal to bleed when you're pregnant? She was like, it's not normal. I was worried. I told my husband about it. We overlooked that day. We didn't really bother about it, thinking that it would go. And others were saying it's implantation bleeding. It will go on its own. It happens in the first month. So I was like, but I'm 2 months gone. So the following day, we discovered that the blood was increasing. So we went to the hospital with my husband. Reaching there, they requested for a scan. They did a scan and discovered that I had fibroids. At first, it only showed it was only one fibroid. But I was told to just be on rest because the heartbeat was there, everything was fine. We went back home. I rested. But in the middle of the night, I had this excruciating pain that I couldn't handle. I woke up my husband. We went to the hospital, that's Lewanika General Hospital in Mongo. Arriving there, they checked me and they said there was no heartbeat and I was losing the baby. It was a painful experience. I did not understand why, of all people, why it could be me to lose a child that I was really looking forward to. I did not delay in conceiving after I got married. But I'm being told this information that you have lost your child. I was in pain. I was taken for DNC. They cleaned me. And that is a very, very painful experience because it's done under cooperation. And so afterwards, after the cleaning, I still continued bleeding heavily. So they were wondering, because they had kept me in the hospital, they were wondering, why are you still bleeding even after we've cleaned you? They did another scan. They said, the fibroid is too big. We'll need to remove it. You need to be operated on. But they gave me 2 weeks to go back home to recover from the emotional torture that I'd had after the miscarriage. We went back home. I was okay. But you know, thoughts were running in my mind. I started feeling as if I was not woman enough. I couldn't carry a child to full term. I began questioning God, really. But anyway, I have a mother who's, she's a medical personnel. So she just encouraged me, these things happen. Since they've told you, they found the problem, it's better you just go back to the hospital, they remove the fibroids, and from there you can kickstart and have your babies. So I was encouraged, I was spoken to, and 2 weeks later we went back to the hospital, and I was wheeled into the theater after staying a day in the hospital, and they removed the fibroids. On the scan, only one fibroid was showing. But when they opened me up, they found that there were 9 in total. And there was one big one, which was weighing 5 kg, and 8 small ones that were of a size of an egg. And after they removed, I recovered so well. Everything was okay. And we even began planning to have our child, because after the checkups, they said I was okay, everything was fine, my womb was clear, I could carry a baby. And before we knew it, I conceived. We were so excited. We're really happy that God had blessed us again. But 8 weeks, the exact time that I lost the previous pregnancy, I started bleeding. And I knew, this is danger again. And we went to the clinic, and I was told there was no heartbeat. And I had to be cleaned for the second time. I was in pain. And I think at that time, I did not even want anyone to talk to me or encourage me in anything. We went back home, and you know when you have gotten married and years are going, you're not having a fruit of the womb. There's usually talk outside there. People talk, people laugh. And even yourself as an individual, you turn against yourself. You don't stand for you because you are vulnerable at that moment. So after that, I said, I will not wait this time. I want to see if I'll get pregnant again as quick as I can. And I don't know what was running in my mind. I was just thinking that maybe this next one, I will try by all means to do whatever I can in my power. I did not know what I could do, but the only dependence that I had was God to hold a pregnancy. And within a short time, I conceived. And for that one, it even passed the time that I would lose pregnancies. I even went into week 10, 11 weeks. And by then, you know, if you bypass, usually miscarriages are prone in the first trimester, that's from 1 to 12 weeks. So when I reached week 11, I was like, now. From nowhere, I just started bleeding. I was standing in the kitchen, I was preparing food, and I just felt this gush, a pressure in my stomach, no pain, just a gush, and blood was on the floor. I broke down. I cried. I was taken to the hospital. Same procedure. I was cleaned again. It's a very painful procedure. Not just painful in the physical, but emotionally. It started eating me up. I started losing my self-esteem. I began to feel as if I'm not woman enough. There are times that I would even tell my husband, I wish you married somebody else, not me. I was in so much pain. I was cleaned, went back to the hospital. They tried to check what really was causing my miscarriages, but nothing was really found, nothing really. Within a short period of time, I conceived the 4th pregnancy. And the time we went to the hospital, and they told us, oh, they are twins. I was like, this one will stay. I will not lose it. And I was there, you know, I kept confessing that this one, I will not lose it. The Lord will help me. But I still had a fear in the inside of me. The inside of me still had the memory of me losing children one after the other. And so when I reached 8 weeks, every time wherever I am, I would go to the bathroom to check if there's blood on my pant. Because it now settled in my subconscious knowing that I lose children. I don't keep children. And I kept on moving with that. Not that I planted it, like I planted it, I wanted it to be like that. But you know, the subconscious will get what you feel. The subconscious will read your nerves. And my nerves were reading that I lose babies. And I had a gastric problem in that pregnancy. So when I went to the hospital, in that very hospital, everything was fine with my babies. But I was given a medication for my gastric issue. Apparently, it is the one that went and caused the miscarriage. I was in pain. From nowhere, I was having stomach pains. And when we went to check, the heartbeats were still there, but I was bleeding. And that's how I was referred to UTH, to come to Lusaka. My husband brought me. We drove all the way and I was bleeding, but not so much. But I still had that little hope of, if one goes out, at least one will survive. When I reached here, they did a scan at UTH. There was only one heartbeat. The other heartbeat wasn't there. So I was put on bed rest so that I tried to preserve the other pregnancy. But while in the process of having that bed rest, I lost the other ones. That's when I stood up one day and told God, Lord, if you know that I'll get pregnant and lose it, then don't make me get pregnant, because I'm tired of this cycle. And you know, people are expecting to see you holding onto a child after marriage. The people that I had gotten married with, you know, we had friends that we got married at the same time. They had their babies and you'd see them carry their babies. And there's just this feeling that is just heavy upon any woman who doesn't have a child and yearning for a child, but they're not having the child. And they're seeing their friends carrying the child. And questions begin to arise. What is wrong with me? Why can't I carry like any other person? What wrong have I done? Which sin did I commit which God cannot forgive? I cried before God. And you know, when I went through that pain, God will always ordain an opportunity for your breakthrough and your deliverance. When I was still in the hospital, in the process when I was losing the twins before I came to Lusaka, one time my husband is driving in the hospital, and he used to drive a Cresta then. And he parks his vehicle, and then another blue Cresta comes to park next to him. And the man who came out from that Cresta was like, where do you get spares for this vehicle? You know, I'm new in Mongo, and I don't know anybody. How can you help me with where to get spares for this car? So they talked, you know, as men. And then the man asked, oh, you work here? My husband said, no, my wife is in the hospital. Actually, she's having a miscarriage. She's carrying twins. We're supposed to take her to Lusaka. I says, I'm a doctor, by the way. Let's go and see your wife. So that's how he came, looked at me, and then he called my husband aside. He said, from what I am seeing, your wife has incompetent cervix, of which we are supposed to tie her when she's pregnant. She's supposed to be tied when the pregnancy is at 12 weeks. But my husband said, my wife doesn't even reach that 12 weeks. She loses when it's 8, 9 weeks. Only one had gone to 11 weeks. He said, do you believe in God? He said, yes. Just do that. The next time when she conceives, come and see me. So after we had come back from Lusaka, after I'd lost the twins, we went back. One day he just calls my husband one time, says, can you find time and bring your wife to the hospital? But then I was not pregnant. He said, okay. So we went to the hospital. I said, I want to do all, you know, he took our situation upon himself. He said, I want to conduct all tests on your wife in order to rule out anything so that we see how we'll handle the next pregnancy. Because I had a challenge of keeping the pregnancies, but I was very fertile. I would conceive. Whenever I would want to conceive, I would conceive. God was faithful. And they did all the tests that showed everything was fine. And he said, okay, for now, when you conceive, you can start trying for your baby. When you conceive, immediately you know, come and see me. So, because of that, I now took time to conceive. Conception was difficult. And now we wonder, what is this? We went back to him. Usually conceiving is not really a problem, but this time, what is happening? So he laughed. He said, okay, I'm going to put you on some medication that would help your wife to ovulate. That is Clomid. Yeah. And the name of that doctor is Dr. Seke Kazuma. So when he put us on that medication, I remember he said I was supposed to take for three months. That was from the time I'm having my period. I've forgotten the days really. So I took the first month. Nothing happened. Second month. Third, he said, okay, I think let's leave it. Let's wait. Now, you know, I'll be frank, you know, when you really want to have this thing that you're looking for. I said, let me try for the 4th time since I still have to my tablets. And I got the 4th month and I drank without his authorization. And when I drank, lo and behold, I conceived. To God be all the glory. Immediately I knew that I had conceived. We went and told him. And when we went to, and by the time I knew, the pregnancy was just 6 weeks old. He said, I'm admitting you immediately. This one you need to carry. And then he taught me words that I'll never forget. He said, your mind is used to you losing babies. Begin to tell your mind that you will carry this baby full term without any complications. Yeah, when he taught me that, I was like, he doesn't know what I've been through. I was not really hoping. It was like, let me just try. But I thank God, my husband, my mother, and my mother-in-law. And in all these things that I was going through, and I thank God, before you get married, pray. Let God help you get into a family that will accept you for you. My mother-in-law was a woman that stood with me, even up to now, and I thank God for her. My mother prayed. My mother-in-law prayed. We engaged pastors. One of the pastors that we engaged was Pastor Oscar Mumba. He stood and prayed with us. Another pastor that we engaged is in Kalawa, is Pastor Ngenda. And the wife, they prayed for us. We prayed. Quite all right, yes. We were praying, but I still had that thing of feeling, is this really going to happen? And then he told my husband, you need to buy, they call it is a chirurgical suture. I'm not a medical personnel. Yeah, and in Mongo it wasn't there. And that's how my husband bought from Lusaka. And it came to Mongo. And he said, you know what? I'm going to keep you in the hospital for a week. We see how it goes. So, because maybe at home you do 1 or 2 things. That's why maybe you temper with the resting. So I'm keeping you in the hospital. So we stayed in the hospital. So 3 days after I stayed in the hospital, I started noticing like water, a discharge coming out of me. I knew, finish. This one now, it's gone. So we told him, and we went to the scan. They said actually in the canal, there's blood that is showing, but the heartbeat is there. It's very strong and very normal. So I said, they tie at 12 weeks, but I'm going to do something. I'm going to tie you now. We'll tie your cervix. But then now I'd got into 7 weeks. So we went in theater and they tied me at 7 weeks. Immediately in that theater, I don't know what happened to me. My mind switched. Maybe because of that time, I had confidence that I'll carry this baby to full term. We came out of hospital and 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. I started even feeling the movements in my stomach. These things are real. And the pregnancy continued. Now when I reached 6 months, I see blood. I said, what is this again? Not again. He just said, be on bed rest. And I was put on bed rest. And I used to sleep on a bed tilted. The end of the bed is lifted and the head is down, and I'll be there throughout. And I never used to move, even going to bath. They used to bath me from the bed. Everything was done from the bed, no movement. I went to 7 months, 8 months. When I was about 35 weeks, the pregnancy was 35 weeks, they gave me an injection to strengthen the lungs of the baby because there was a possibility of me giving birth to a premature baby because of an incompetent cervix. And when I was 35 weeks, I was removed from bed rest. Yeah. And I would do menial work, just little works here and there, just for me to be strong, in preparation for labor. 36 weeks, 3 days. I don't know what went into me. That day I stood up, I'm saying, I'm going to town. That was in Mongo. And I left home walking and I went into town. So a certain man, by now he's late, he looked at me and said, Mama, go back home. The way you are looking, your pregnancy has gone down. You might give birth anytime. So Again, I worked, and you know where I used to stay and town, it's a distance. My husband was not around. And I went back home because with cravings of a pregnant person, so I wanted to walk that day. I left the car parked at home. I just wanted to walk, and I walked back home. Immediately I reached home, labor started. But remember, there was still a suture there. I tried to start the vehicle, I drove myself to the hospital. I failed, but our neighbor had a canter and they were washing it. A mind to call my husband was not there. And that's how I just told a young man who used to stay our neighbor, his name was James. James, I'm not okay, please take me. And that's how we went, boarded the canter, and we were driving, he's seated that side, I'm here. And I was busy. When it pains, I would beat him. And I'm sure the young man was surprised. We reached the hospital. Immediately I reached the hospital. The doctor who was appointed to handle my case was almost leaving the hospital. The truck is entering, he's coming out. And when I see him, he says, what is it? I said, I'm in pain. Immediately, he just tells a guard, put on wheelchair and tell the nurses to prepare for theater. And he rushed to theater. At the right time, they prepared me straight. We went to theater, opened me up, and the Lord blessed me with a bouncing baby boy. His name is Samuel. Seke. The Seke, we had to name him after the doctor that looked after us, just to appreciate him, and we thank God for him. And I was a mother. I was so happy. All the pain that I felt went. Everybody who laughed at me came to laugh with me. And it just showed me that it is possible. God answers. And when God answers, your mind needs to be tuned to the word that God has given you. If your mind is different from what God is saying, you keep on losing. Focus your mind on the good thing. Usually these days they say positive vibes. Have positive vibes, yeah? And it will work for you. And the boy grew up, and thank God, he's okay. And we started, planning for the next one. At least, you have. To my children, I'm a believer of having a lot of children. I love, because we are just two in our family. So I thought, I will increase our clan. And by then the doctor was transferred and he went to a different town. He came back to Lusaka, yeah. I conceived. I lost. I conceived another one. I lost. I conceived, what is this? Then I remembered the words that he told me. Your mind still has that thing of losing until you tell your mind that you will not lose. And I even remember the prayer that I told God, like, Lord, if you know that if I get pregnant, I will lose, don't make me get pregnant. I remember that prayer, and I was like, after I even have, there's evidence to show that I'm a woman. Not to say that women that don't have children are not women. No. You are ordained in the image of God. You are special. At the right time, the Lord will bless you. Have positive vibes. Believe in God. Set your mind on the answer. Begin to feel the answer before it comes. Yeah. And I told myself, no, but God has answered me and he has given me this boy. Why can't I believe that God will give me a girl? From there, I got pregnant. When I got pregnant, I started bleeding again. I told myself, I have told you, God, and have faith in you. This I will not lose. And I'm not going to agree to be cleaned at the hospital. So when they told me that there was no heartbeat, they had to clean me, I said, let me rot so that I go and meet this God who is not answering me, pertaining the child. Because we agreed, I told him that if you know that I will lose, don't let me conceive. But why did you allow me to conceive after that prayer? So it's either I die, I go and meet this God, because I was talking from the pain and the emotion that I had gone through. And I went back home and I refused to be cleaned. And I stayed 2 weeks, I was still bleeding. And after 2 weeks, when my husband and mom spoke to me, I said, no, don't allow the devil to get your life because of the situation. Just go to the hospital, they go and clean you. I went back to the hospital. So anyway, you can go ahead and clean. So they said, no, but we can't clean you now. We have to do a scan to see the damage because it's been over 2 weeks. So I went where they went and did a scan. Lo and behold, there was a heartbeat. And I almost jumped out of that bed. I was like, thank you, Jesus. I'm not losing this child. Because by then, it was now beyond 8 weeks. It was about 10, 11. So they said, what we need to save you is to tie you. I said, I've been saying that you people tie me. But they were saying, no, we cannot tie you before 12 weeks. But I said, but my doctor tied me at 12 weeks, but at 7 weeks. Why can't you do it? No, you just have to go and rest. I said, no. I told my husband, I will stay in this hospital until they tie me. Because we already had that suture. I will stay in this hospital. And that's how they were forced to give me a bed. And I stayed. I said, I will stay here so that when I lose, I say, you refuse to attend to me. So one doctor, his name is Dr. Njeko, I just say in Mongo, said, take her to theater, tie her. And they said, whatever will happen, it's not our fault. It's you who's insisted that we should tie you. I said, just tie me. That's how they took me to the theater and they went and tied me. I was discharged. And the pregnancy kept on going on so well, and they gave me the progesterone pills to be taking. And the pregnancy kept going on. So I remember one time from work, I wanted to have some rest. So I had to go to the hospital to go and request for them to give me a pass for rest. And by then the pregnancy was 7 months old. So when I went, I was told to go in the office of the in charge, the overall at the hospital. So when I went there, lo and behold, I found Dr. Njoka. He's like, and then when he saw me, like he was startled, he was like, you, this pregnancy is there. I said, yes. You mean that very time that I told you, tie me? And he gave me the paper. I went back to the office, I was given leave, I rested. And when I was 37 weeks, I just had a headache that day. I went to the hospital. When I reached, I said, no, just take her straight to theater. They opened me up, and a bouncing baby girl by the name of Shekinah. And today I'm a mother of 2. And these things are not like fairy tales. These are things that are happening in our lives. The pains of losing a child, the pains of not conceiving, the pains of not having a child of your own, the pains of having and then losing the children is a pain that cannot be explained in words, but only the nerves are the ones that can speak. It's the emotion. And hence the people around us need to really learn that a person who doesn't have a child or a person who's losing is not the one at fault. It's a circumstance that nobody will request for or cry for. So don't put in more injury by laughing at them, stigmatizing them, and making them feel lower of themselves, because the pain that they already feel is more. Now when you add that, it's emotional torture that can break a woman into making them think less of themselves. Others might even end up committing suicide. So be people that understand this emotional language.
It's in your head, so I understand that's like a psychological thing. You probably the trauma had put that into you.
Yeah.
So now, if a person does not have the conviction that you have, does not have the conviction in court that you have, but they're still going through what you went through, what sort of situation do you think can help them? Do they find like a good doctor that they can trust? What sort of encouragement?
Whether a believer or a non-believer, all of us have got a subconscious. All of us have got a mind. And all of us can choose either to be positive or negative. I will use this language, a psychological language. The universe has a language which it understands. And the language which the universe understands is not what you just say. But the universe understands the language of the subconscious, which is emitted through the nerves. And that's the language that the universe will respond to you. And so for a woman that does not know God or they've met God earlier, what I would tell you is be positive. Begin to feel the answer that you want before you even see it. Begin to imagine yourself that you are carrying this job. Be positive. And in that process, take steps that will help in that situation. Go to the hospital together and go together with your partner. Go and find out what really the problem is. But as you are doing that, Keep on believing. Be positive. Be positive that it will work out for me. As long as you put your mind and set your mind on something, this body is just a figure that is outside. The real you is in the inside of you. And that real you is the one that feels those emotions. So turn those emotions of failure to have and turn them into having. Begin to feel. Imagine yourself that you have this baby. The imagination that God gave us, He did not just give it to Christians. Begin to imagine how you'll be carrying your baby and put a feeling to that imagination. Begin to say, if you want, you can even buy yourself even like a romper for a baby. You begin to look at it. As you keep on doing that, the neurons in the inside of you begin to create pathways of a new system that is being built, of which it says you're having a baby. And automatically, the body will begin to assume the position or the feeling that you are giving it. It's possible. That's why I said, have positive vibes. Have positive vibes. Be positive. Yeah.
Partners, husbands who get frustrated with, you had a loving relationship with your husband, your mother and your mother-in-law, but then there are some instances where a woman, like you said in the beginning, you shouldn't blame the woman. But I think, should I say, men maybe get tired? Because how many did you say you lost? 9?
9.
For others, they would have got.
Yes, true.
Yeah. So for partners that get fed up, frustrated, how do they support their wives? Because in this case, it's the wife.
Yeah, for partners, I would say, when you began at first, it was supposed to be for better, for worse. Though mostly it's not really taken like that. I would still get back to the woman. You are the only one who's supposed to be there for yourself. If the people around you are not there for you, and you fall in that seat of saying, there are situations in this world that just require you to stand for yourself. Stand for yourself, build yourself in your inside to carry the weight of that issue. And as you keep on doing that, the energy that you are emitting, of the positivity that you are emitting, those people around, before they know it, they will join you because they would have seen results. Yes, some partners can disappoint. People are different. We marry into different families. They will talk all sorts of things. They will say all sorts of things about you. It is painful. When they say those things, feel the pain. Cry it out. But from the pain, don't hold on to the pain. Feel it, let it go. And from that pain, pick something that you're going to run with. I always tell people that in every pain, there's a door to the answer of that thing you are crying for. So even if don't push it. Stand for you. Be there for yourself. And run the race on your own. Because in this case, you have no one else but yourself. So if you leave yourself, who's going to be there for you? So run with it. Move with it. And at times, I'm open to people that are going through such things. Come. I know how it feels. I've helped a lot of ladies. Come, we cry it out together. I tell you what I feel. So it's good to even affiliate yourself with people that can encourage you, that can build you, and move with you in that step. I know you cannot be left alone. You cannot. Yeah, there's always somebody that will stand with you. And I'm open to that. I'm open, and there are other people open. Even, there are counseling centers. Though in Zambia, I've noticed counseling is not really taken as something that is very important. But I implore you, find somebody you can talk to. Don't keep it to yourself. Find somebody you can talk to. Yeah.
So anyone can reach you, if they see this on social media?
Yes.
How do they reach you?
They can reach me. My social media is Theresa Mubonda, or they can get in touch with the producers around here. They'll have my contacts, and I'm available. We talk, we pray together. We see how to move with this issue. Amen.
Apart from, you've spoken so much about the support from your family, from the doctors. Did you ever feel also, you've taken accountability of how you were feeling when you were sad. And did you ever experience any discrimination from outside? Did you ever feel like people were mocking you, people were judging you for losing? Did you ever feel that from the outside community, not because your family was supportive?
You know what? I felt that from the outside community. I only spoke of the people that were there for me in my family. But even in the family, there were others that were discriminating. I've only mentioned the people that were there for me, but even in the family, outside, in church, there were times, oh God, they'll make me and my husband feel as if, and for a woman like me, maybe I'm not just a mamimba yambi. And being in an area like Mongo, at that particular time, it's still a traditional area, it's a rural setup. Abandia wanachosa mamimba, basobera kurusaka uko. Now they've come, akwatira mwana watu, after basira. And all those things will reach me. Others went ahead to say, that is what she uses for her singing, so that she can sing well. She sacrifices babies. I went through all that pain. There were times that I would lock myself in the house, do not want to even do anything or go to church, and avoid certain people in church, because that's how they would make you feel like you are this wicked person. That's why God is not even blessing you. And others will even flaunt their babies in front of you just to make you feel the pain. It was not easy. It was painful. I cried. And in that path, I would not say this is the solution that I got to avoid this. I felt the pain and I cried it. I never pretended it. I just cried and broke out. And there are times that I would even go in my closet to pray. I would not even have any words. I'll cry. I'll feel restless. There are times that I would sit, I'm scared. Maybe my husband will impregnate somebody else. Maybe my husband will go and look for a side chick somewhere and bring in the house and say, you were on end. All those thoughts, I had them. There were times that you are broken, you've lost a child. And you're seated, you're imagining, because most you will be the first person to know that you've lost. And you're wondering, again, I tell him that I've lost. And with men, they don't show their emotions. You don't know what he's thinking. And all that was torture to me. But the only thing that I would encourage you, when you feel pain, don't suppress it. Release it. Because after the release, you have a clear mind. So I went through it. People from church, I will not lie. People in church, I went through the pain. Others would even ask, Tale makulindira. Others would even come and touch your stomach. How far? And all that was torture, piercing in my soul. And this is the thing that I cannot change on my own. The only way that I overcame this is I cried it out. I went through the pain. And I received words from other believers would come, talk to me, encourage me. But at the moment they are talking to you, sometimes you feel like they're just wasting your time because they're not giving you what you really want. But until that word that Dr. Kazuma told me, your mind, begin to tune your mind. That one is what the thing that made me hold on. Even up to now in other situations, circumstances, I always would make sure my mind is tuned into having what I want and overlook the noise elsewhere.
Did you at some point, since you're a godly person, did you at some point doubt God? I know you went and cried to him and say, enough is enough. Did you doubt him? At some point, did you ever think that this was where Zambia, and you were in a rural conservative setup, did you ever think that there was some spirituality attached to it?
Yes, I did. Yes, there were many times that I doubted God. Many times that I doubted God, that I felt, is this God really looking at me? And it being superstitious and fetish, I believed it 100% because I was like, who is eating my babies? Who is this one eating my babies? And I remember some of my relatives from the village once called me and said, and this is where we really even need to be careful, because you end up pointing people. Yeah, some things can be superstitious, but I came to realize that the one who has the key to anything that I want is myself. There's a time I even told God that I think you and me stick with Izana, because many funa you're not doing. And you decided, I think in Aleka, I will not follow God anymore. But again, you come back and sit down. This thing, Because it's a thing that you cannot find a solution on yourself or on your own. No, it's something that needs, the hospital has to come in. Spiritual intervention, God has to come in. Others even go to, we've got different beliefs. Go to different places. And such circumstances were offered to me, where somebody even comes and brings, and you sit down, but I'm a believer. Should I do this? And my husband said, well, yes. And relatives will bring them because they love you. They want you to come out of that. So there were times that I almost gave up. I will not lie that I was mature, I was strong in the Lord, in the power of His might. There are times that I was broken. But in that time when I was broken, I surrounded myself with people that stood strong for me. And in that process, I came out of it. Yeah.
An encouragement to the women that are going through and then those that also going through miscarriages. Maybe you go through a miscarriage and you give up just one miscarriage because people give up easily, and also spouses that I know Theo did mention, but just an emphasis especially to spouses, because mostly it's you won't have the best family members you did, but the spouse is the key, because what they hear mostly influences the decisions that they make, and especially if it's coming from family. So just an emphasis to spouses, and to also the ladies that are going through these issues. What would be, if you were given one-on-one with them, what would you say to them?
Okay, so my encouragement to the ladies that are going through what I went through, and others that are failing to have, or others that even had but they lost their children, the only thing that I will tell you is, first, be true to yourself. The pain that you are feeling, don't push it aside in trying to give an image that I am fine. Don't suppress it, don't kill it. Feel it, cry it, and thereafter seek God. Because in all this, quite all right, I knew the times that I would give up on God, but at the end of the day, I still came back to the one that created me. And I prayed, He stood for me. And I will still get back to the issue of being positive. Be positive. Believe that it will happen. And then don't just sit at Civichitika. I don't want to overlook other forms of treatment, but personally, I will encourage you, go to the hospital. Go and find out what the problem is. And when you reach the hospital, it is your right to ask questions, to know what really is wrong with me. Talk to the doctor, talk to the nurses, don't fear them, talk to them. And to the spouses, your wife, the pain that your wife is going through is 10 times more than what you are going through. So you are the shoulder that the wife is leaning on. You let go of her. You have pushed her into a hole that will be difficult for her to come out from. So you have to be there for them. Go with them for the treatments. Encourage them. It is a time that a woman really needs love. Because that child she has lost is not just your child or her child. It is both yours. And be there. Don't start pointing fingers at her, because the more you do that, she's deteriorating to a level of where now even conceiving will fail. Because conception needs a clear mind. So if you put her under pressure, you are increasing. And when she's in pressure, even conceiving will fail. Even carrying to full term will fail. Even for her to have an open mind to think of, solutions for both of you, it won't be there, because her mind will be on you who's torturing her. Be there for her. Feel the pain with her. And as you go, and let me say this, men, as you go to your relatives, don't go and talk against your wife over this issue. You are in this together. Be a defense of your wife to your relatives. Stand for her. Whatever they might want, they might even say, stand for your wife, because immediately you do that, you have destroyed a home. You have broken her, you have broken her trust, and you have taken her to zero. For families that have such people, stand with the people, stand with the couple. It's not a time for you to now show, it's mkazi. What? No, that's not the right thing to do, because, emotional torture is very deep. It's very painful, and it takes time for it to leave a human being. So be people that are there for the couple. But the main key player in all this is, young woman, be there for yourself and run with what you've held in your hand. If you've said, I will carry a child, continue to believe. And the last thing that I will even tell you is, run to God. Talk to him. He's the one that knows your biological stature. Talk to him. Pali problem nipat. Give insight, Lord, to the people that are working on me to see what is wrong. Like I said in my earlier explanation, I used to go to the hospital. They checked. They couldn't see what was happening, but just an explanation, a doctor heard and said, this is it. And today, I have children. The solution was found. God is the ultimate source. Go back to him. Search in him. And to the community, when you see a couple has gotten married, it is not your duty to start counting months and years to know whether they have children or they can have children or they can't. As a community, we are supposed to be, stand for each other. The comments that you pass say, Sibabala, baribe mwana, niriti mwana talema kuyembekeza. You don't say that. Those things are hurting and demeaning. The people you are asking those questions are not God for them to decide at which time they should have a child. Already when you see them, there are people that are in pain, wanting to carry what you, the community, carries day by day, that child. You have children around. Stop increasing the pain by pointing at them. If there's any way you can help them, pray for them. Encourage them, not beginning to ask, need it? No. No one has the right to enter into someone's life to go and know what is really happening in their inside. No. Be there. Be people of love. Shield them. Make the area conducive for them to live there. Because some women even fail to even walk, to come out to go and get something because they fear. Banikamba. Immediately you see them, 10 years, it's not their fault. They are in pain. Imagine yourself in their shoes. How would you feel? When you finish imagining like that, it's from that state of feeling that begin to address them with respect, love. Because at that particular time, they need the love from you, not you questioning. Don't injure them the more. They are already in pain. And remember, whatsoever thing that you sow, you will reap. You might be carrying your children now, but you have children as well that will grow up. Not that I'm prophesying that they will not have children. It might happen in your home. So have empathy. Feel what they are feeling. Married for 16 years, had 9 miscarriages in a space of 10 years. But now the Lord has blessed me with 2 children, a boy and a girl, Samuel and Shekinah. My name is Theresa Mubonda, and this is my story.